Very good, thank you. We have the minutes from the regular meeting of June the 15th. We'd like to have a motion to approve them.
I so move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Minutes are approved. Okay. On the grants and the work that's going to be done on Camelot, we've sent out our first legal notice today. Actually, I think it went yesterday. The second legal notice will go out the 27th, and then the mandatory pre-bid will be August the 1st. We're hoping that we'll get more than one bid and be able to move forward. We cast a broader net this time to get more people or more businesses to respond and quote our road requirements. The reason it didn't get passed last time is because we only had one bid show up, and GLO wants more than one bid for the job. So we're doing due diligence and trying to encourage other companies to quote on our job requirements. I mentioned the other day that we received 5 of the 10 appraisal forms for the land that goes with the $11.4 million grant. I had to return them. They were all wrong. As an example, they had a picture of the backside of the breach dam, and that's the dump station. They had a picture of the dump station. That was actually the backside of the dam. The sliver of dirt that they needed to expand the road going around Camelot Dam on the other side, the appraisal came back for the whole park, not just the sliver to widen the road. So that had to be returned. Let's see. There were a number of other things, but at any rate, they're going back through all of them, and at some point, we'll get all 10 of them done. I was pushing them pretty hard to get it as quickly as possible, but there's no way that this is going to get, we're going to break dirt on that this year. It's going to be next year at the earliest before we can break dirt on the $11 million grant because of all of the things, all the steps that we have to go through. Let's see here. Uh, 28th Street. We got the grading back on our application for 28th Street. We came in 22nd out of 22, and CD says that they generally don't fund beyond 15, so it looks like that one is going to fall by the wayside. We'll continue to look for other ways and other grants that we can use in the future, but this one, disappointedly, is gone, or appears to be gone.
Did they give us any comments on why? Or?
We got a score sheet, and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. When I looked at some of the weighting factors, there was only one that showed really weighting factors, and I thought that just looking at those numbers, we should have been up in the top 10. But other things are considered, like how much money you've received recently, how much GLO money that has come to us in the past, and you know, those things take away from the score that the city gets. I thought I had the, here we go. Delinquent taxes, we got $3,883 in delinquent taxes paid. That's a good thing. So the $7.9 million grant, that's the one I just talked about that we were going out on the bids for. let's see. 1.9 CD, was that 1.9 the 28th Street?
1.9 is gonna be
Lakewood,
Lakewood.
okay, okay. So we're waiting to hear back from GLO. It's coming. The arrival time of the approval is unknown. Let's see. Oh, here's the grading for 28th Street. So poverty, the match ratio, previous funding, oh, there it is. Previous funding took us way down. Sir?
That cost us about,
Yeah. Commissioners are still moving forward on the grant to pave Ivanhoe Drive. And Camelot is going to be going out with the bid that we're working on right now. That's about all I've got at the moment.
Have we gone out for bid on the 8 million?
No.
We're still waiting to rebid that one,
No, the 7.9?
7.9.
That's the one that we're about to go out on bids for. We've set the notice to bid out to the newspapers.
Is that on 8.3?
No, that was done. It was sent out today, and then we've got to go out for the second time, second round. I think I said August the 7th.
August 3rd?
Yeah, something.
Okay.
Now, Mayor, you mentioned that we are casting a broader net to get more bids this go round. What avenues are we casting that net at to get those hopeful bids?
We were going to go to the Houston Chronicle, but that was going to be $5,500. So
Wow.
we pulled back and went back to the Beaumont newspaper and the Tyler County Booster. The Beaumont newspaper is part of Hearst, and they own the Houston Chronicle also. We're hopeful that they'll be able to spread that out amongst their other newspaper places. If nothing else, at least we've shown that we've made every effort to get additional contractors to come and bid on our work.
Mayor, I'm asking because I'm ignorant on this
Bless you.
point. Are newspapers the only suitable avenue for bids that we are allowed to utilize, or are there any online?
It has to be. There is an online, and LJA has used that for every bid that we've gone out on. I can't recall what it's called.
There's like a bid network. You have to publish in the paper, but you can also, there's bid networks or there's,
Civ something. What is it?
that you.
Civcast is what LJA has been using.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, there are other avenues, but we're required to put it in a publication. So moving along, you have municipal court activity? No, the judge didn't stick around today. He asked if he could go. His wife has health issues, and it's just he would have stayed. He'll stay. I'd like to make notice of our new employee. Haley Williams is our newest member of the office, and we're happy to have her. She is shadowing CD and gradually taking on the role of treasurer, and will be handling the checking account and a lot of the financial stuff for us under CD's mentorship. Chief? That sounds good, doesn't it?
What's that?
Chief?
All right.
All right, for the month of June, we had 43 calls. We had 2 arrests, 17 citations written, and 24 warnings. And that concluded the month of June. Saturday is our Burgers with the Badges luncheon, or kind of a lunch fundraiser starting at 11 o'clock. So I want to encourage everybody to come out, meet all the officers, see the vehicles, talk to us, get to know us while we're raising funds to purchase the rifle plate vests for the department. Besides that, June was a good month.
I like your new vest.
Thank you. These vests are thanks to the Friends of Alpoa, or Friends of Ivanhoe. Friends of Ivanhoe. These are our regular duty vests that'll protect us from small arms ammunition. All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Marshall?
Hello.
Howdy.
I'll try and make this as short as I can. Before you have our monthly report for June. It's self-explanatory. I don't necessarily feel the need to go through each one. It just gives you, as council, to understand how our hours are spent, our days. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about those. Some of those, they vary, of course, from month to month. But between this and the graph that I did supply with it, you can kind of see for the year where we're at, where we've been, and where we're going. And it looks like we're right on track. It looked like sometimes in 2020 we peaked as far as spending money and the number of work orders that we did. I'm not going to say we caught up. We didn't. We just got to a point to where we could breathe a little easier. As you can tell, the numbers now and the work orders are going down each year, which tells me we're on the process of completing our mission as far as getting things somewhat under control. Hopefully one day get to where it's maintenance instead of rebuild, rebuild, rebuild. Throw maintenance in there where we can. If you have any questions about those, like I said, I'll be happy to answer them at this time.
Have y'all changed your hours at all with the heat? Are you working earlier?
We are looking into changing the hours, but so far it's hard to escape this heat, no matter what hours we change to or anything. I've just told the guys, hydrate, get in the shade when you feel like you need to. The trucks have air conditioner. Get them if you need to, if you feel the need. And I have no problem with them doing that at all. It's 102, 103, 101, and it's hot out there on that open road.
We did let them start wearing shorts.
No, that's what
Yeah.
that's one of my next questions.
Yeah, that was a godsend. We're going to have a difficult time going away from that. They have gotten used to it, but it's really working good for them.
Yeah, so I don't think as long as you don't lower your other safety standards, you're fine.
No.
They still wear steel-toed boots.
Oh, absolutely,
and,
yeah.
They're colored vests.
Yeah. We had one want to show up in his cowboy boots, and I had to draw the line, but
That Bill dope.
yes, it was. The numbers on this monthly report do fluctuate from time to time. Just briefly, the grading on this month, for June, was 43 hours. That's down by 10.5 hours from the previous month. The culverts was down by 23.5 hours, but our ditch production was up to almost 22 hours. So where we falter or just not enough going on with that one, we make up generally in another category. Our general maintenance has increased this last month to 55 hours, 55.5 hours. Keep in mind, general maintenance, it's a very general term, but that covers everything from mowing, checking the vehicles, working on the vehicles, patching, anything else that's not listed. It covers a wide variety of things that the guys do.
Is patching a big enough category to add it in as a separate?
Yes and no. Yes, it is. No, because it would be an absolute nightmare to try and keep track of it, and I just don't have the time. But if we need to, we'll find a way to do that.
So you tweaked my memory here. I've talked about this stuff so much I forget what I've said and when, but the bid that came in on the $7.9 million grant was $2 million over budget,
Correct.
and that was because of ditches and culvert work. Gulf
Correct.
States or East
Yeah.
Texas
Yeah.
asphalt, they go by now, could not find anybody that would bid on that work, and he went to a buddy and said, just give me a number. That's one of the reasons why it came in so over budget. It was $2 million, and David and his crew has taken that on. We'll be able to have the contractor supply the culverts, and then David and his crew will be installing about 125, 130 culverts at 70 different sites around the city to help save our $2 million and get as much bang for the buck as we can out of the asphalt that we'll be putting down.
Yep. I think it was going to short us instead of 37 sites. If we did away with that 2 million, we were only going to be able to do like 24, 23, somewhere in there. So it's time we get them all done. So we're more than happy to do that.
The other change was the material that's going to be used. It's not going to be the same asphalt that went down on Chanticleer. It's going to be a hybrid of asphalt. He calls it cold set, wet.
Yeah.
No, hot mix, cold wet.
No. This is something that only Gulf
Oil
States
sand.
has
It's
the
got oil
proprietary
sand
mix
in
to it.
But
Yeah.
it's the material that was put down over by the substation 18 months ago. David was not a fan of it at first. He didn't think it would be durable, but has since become.
I have been wrong many times before in my life.
Well, no. That's
You're
a
sold,
good. That's
huh?
a good thing that
Yeah,
it's proven out to be
It
good
has.
material.
A lot of cities around here are using it. It's basically a souped up oil sand, and I can't stand oil sand, but
Neither
this
can
stuff
David.
has a lot of different products in it, and it looks like it's holding up very well.
So he invited us to go to Newton and look what they had done for Newton. And David and I have been wanting to get over there and take a look, but anybody else in here?
No, I wouldn't be interested.
Okay,
Good.
We'll make a day trip over
Now,
there.
is the application method for that material the same as if it was regular hot mix?
Yes.
Okay. very good.
Yes. I haven't seen any repair jobs on it, but according to the manufacturer, it's much simpler, much faster, much easier. We just have to get our hands on that material at the right time, which I'm not certain if it has to go down as a hot mix or if we can do it cold.
The other thing is when we were meeting with Gulf States, I made mention of the fact that they had offered to rent us a BOMAG for $7,500 a day with a $4,000 mobilization charge. And the president said that when they're here and the equipment's here and if they're not using it, we can take that BOMAG and go over to Fire Tuck, 27th, 28th, and maybe run down those streets and chew them up into marble-sized pieces and pack them down. It'd be 100 times better than what it is now.
Yeah. Also, the bulkheads on a number of these culverts, a large number of them, were originally cast in place concrete.
Oh, that's right.
Which we cannot do. We're just not set up to do that. We don't have the manpower to do that. We talked back and forth with the engineers, the grant writers, and so forth, and asked them if we could use the old tried and true method of concrete bags and rebar driven through them to keep them in place, and they said absolutely. It's been working for years and years and years. You can do that.
And that was another
that was
cost savings,
big cost savings,
cost
yeah.
avoidance, whatever you want to call it.
The guys weren't real happy when we found out we'll be throwing
sure.
80-pound bags and approximately 100 pallets in this weather, but they're up to it, so we will get it done. The bottom part of this, our work orders have decreased by 4, but again, at this point, we don't have a work order on the board. That's a good thing, but I'm sure after tonight, and folks hear this, I'll have a lot of phone calls in the
Is
morning.
it time for another pizza party?
Yeah, yeah. Our base has gone down considerably in June by almost 31 tons. The reason for that is we have found a new way to mix this base with this ash material. So instead of costing us $54 a ton, it's comes out to about $24 to $26 a ton once we stretch it. Works just as well, if not better. Locks everything in place a little better, so we're happy about that. The mix, we're down about 24 tons. The base, though, since we've done, we're up to new category this last month in June, but we're up on that. The hot mix, we've did about 6 tons more. And culverts, we were down just a little bit, but there just hasn't been a high demand for those at this time. So, on the graph, again, like I said, it's self-explanatory. You can see we're in second page there. In 2020, we were way up there as far as spending, and it's steadily been dropping since then, at least staying halfway even with it.
So these are dollars?
What's that?
These are dollars?
Yeah, yeah. So we're starting to even out a little bit. I really think that 2020, if you look at that, you look at the number of work orders that were conceived that year was the highest number we've ever had, and they're starting to drop accordingly. So I think we're on the right road here.
This is material cost only, correct?
That's everything. Everything. We, thankfully, after some delays, were able to pick up 120 tons of ash material, which when mixed will produce 360 tons. And compare that to the cost of our limestone, it will be a cost avoidance, savings, whatever, of about $16,200. So we're back on track with that, trying to get it as much as we can, as often as we can, but it is at their discretion, not ours. Anything else?
We're getting along well with the pellet mill?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You want to talk about dams?
Might as well. That's up next, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So much for the roads. Let's move to the dams. This is our second inspection. And if you look back on that one for just a minute, you'll see, again, a new column there, the dams. We have spent 28.5 hours. So we're on it. We're looking. We're checking. Y'all are not aware of this. I thought we were going to fix the leak today over here on Charmaine at the valve. When they opened it up, the gasket itself came out in about 3 or 4 different pieces. So we're going to have to work on getting that fixed. It's not a bad leak, about like a leaky water faucet, so you'll still see some running down the side of the dam at the end of the exit there for the valve.
It's always something.
Always
Do
something.
we have replacement gaskets, or?
We do not. As far as I know, we've never replaced one. But we will contact some of these companies, see if it's a universal type gasket. It just looks to me like a large O-ring, but it's been smashed so many times, it's hard to tell. To get to that and do it correctly, we are going to have to block off the inflow. Not sure exactly how we're going to do that.
That was my next question.
We used to put a plate on the one on Camelot, but this one's too far out. So we'll have to figure out something else. But we will. We'll wait for another turtle to flow in there, and it'll stop it up. But we'll get to it, and we'll get the gasket replaced. So I'll keep you apprised of that. And we do have a insight on a valve replacement, which if we're going to, now would be the time to do it, since we're going to have to cut the flow down. We can get whatever valve needed at cost. Not sure what that would be, but it would be a whole lot cheaper at the dealer's cost. Okay, on with the dams. We inspected the dams on the 12th of this month for July. On Tristan, pretty much the same as it was last month. Bulkhead repairs are needed, approximately 100 foot, some loose screws, warped boards, and the cap is starting to buckle a little bit on top of that. I don't think it's anything that structural, it just needs to be done.
And this is all stuff that you and your guys can handle.
At this time, probably not with
It's
that
the
many
bulkhead?
culverts that we have to put in.
Bulkhead cap?
Yeah. Maybe the cap we can, but the rest of it,
Yeah.
you know, we can do what we can
Sure.
to save cost on anything there. Other than that, the valve's fine itself. The platform, I want to get around to checking, cleaning, painting, give it a little more grip to where it's a lot safer out there, get it a little bit stiffened up, so to speak, to where it's not shaky when you're out there. Other than that, it's the same report as it was last month.
So that 100 foot of bad bulkhead,
Mhm.
what is our timing, you think, from, we have erosion behind it, or we're?
Some, and I'm more concerned about the erosion behind it,
Yeah.
with the holes kind of coming out there and all. But we will look at it. But like I said, we've got these 130 culverts that we've got to get in here fairly quickly. So we're going to be tied up with that. But we're not going to let it just slide.
So
We'll
with
do
all
what
the
we have
different
to do.
sites that we've got to put culverts in, we're going to try to coordinate them with the contractor so that we're ahead of them when we want to get the site one done first before they come in, and then go to site two and be preparing it in advance of them finishing one and moving to two.
Will any of that be impacted by the work that comes in, that, because it's right there on the end, when the road comes in, when we do the stuff, will that portion of the bulkhead be changed at all?
Oh, you're
No.
talking about Tristan?
Tristan,
No,
Do what now?
the road that when we do the dam, the 11.7 million.
Yeah, where they raised Lakewood 5 feet?
Yeah.
That will change the road a little bit.
But that will have not impact. We do have a bid for that bulkhead. It's $13,400 on that. That's the best bid that we got at this time. So we're trying to get all these dollars put together right now because we have also caulking that we need to do. We got 9,800 feet of caulking that needs to be done at some point in time to bring these dams back up to par, which is in about $49,000.
That brings us right into this next
The next
item on the agenda.
So
Okay.
I guess you got nothing else?
The other dams, very quickly.
Okay.
As you were saying, on Galahad, we've got some caulking that needs to be done. We need to repaint the no parking signs on there. We're busy trying to make some stencils for that. Clean the weep holes, caulk some seams, cleaning at the bottom edge. Everything else is good. Looks well. Camelot. Okay, it's Camelot, and if you've known Camelot Dam, of course, the glaring thing that jumps out is the roadway needs repaired, which is part of the 11, whatever, that we're going to do the
11.4.
dams with, yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I know it sounds terrible, but just being completely honest, we will keep it to where the jug holes and potholes are to a minimum, but we're not going to spend a ton of money to go out there and spend 2 or 3 days doing something other than just patching. It just doesn't make monetary sense to me.
What do you call it? Dump and go?
Throw and go.
Throw and go.
Throw and
Throw
go.
and go.
It works.
Yeah.
Everything else is good. The roadway needs repair. Some erosion. The biggest thing that the guys are complaining about, the valve is very hard to access during high water. I'm not sure how they know about high water because we haven't had any water in a while, but it is where it sets. We've got to do something with that new design on that because you'd be this deep if you waited too long to try and open that valve.
to open that valve.
Yeah, that's not a good scenario there at all. On Charmaine, on the crest of the embankment, There's cracks, spalling concrete, crumbling edges. Midway across the spillway is a patch that has been repaired before. It has a hollow sound underneath it, which is never a good thing. Probably a void. Don't know how big. Slight water flow at the weep holes, which means we need to get in there and get them cleaned out to where it can do what it's supposed to do. Other than that, things are status quo with that one. Not a whole lot of difference than what it was last month. We're just keeping a really close eye on things. Try and nip them in the bud before they get going too big. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'll let you handle this.
And what about mowing? Camelot, Tristan? Are they need to be mowed again, or can we wait a little bit longer?
I would say let's wait a little bit. I'm afraid if we mow them now, nothing will grow back.
All
I
right.
think it'll all die off pretty
Yeah, the
quick. if
heat's
we
killing
do.
the grass pretty much.
Yeah, we cut it any shorter, it's going to be even worse.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so we don't want the erosion to start.
No.
We'll keep an eye on it, but no plans right away.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
Carolyn?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Warren?
Thank you, Mayor. We went up for bids for engineers for the dams. We had two companies that were part of that responded back. Mayor Blackstone, Councilman McGruder, Mr. Marshall, and myself were present for the review. We decided to get LJA to be the engineers to inspect the dams. We want to inspect these dams, know where we're at, what we have, where we need to go, what needs to be done, so we can put dollar figures to it and figure out how we're going to get this all accomplished, to know where our problems are. And once we get the engineers in here, we want to get a geotech company in here that will let us know where the voids are. We're looking at Camelot and Galahad. And then we had one of the companies that came back to us that we've been in contact with that is a foam company, which is the way to go. Texas Geotech is a foam company. They went with this polyurethane foam that they put in that will not only seek into the soil and fill these voids, but does a much better job than doing concrete. It's the professional way to go.
And
I
it's not hydroscopic.
No. And I sent council two surveys, two studies of two different dams that these people have done, plus the geotech that we can look at. But our first thing is to identify all of our problems.
That's with the ground penetrating radar.
We're going to get engineers in here with the valves. And then we're going to get ground penetrating radar in here to know what we have for voids. And then we'll look at using the foam to fill these voids. And then we'll have a much better foundation and go from there. But until we can identify all of our problems, we're going to hold off and make the most repairs we can do right now that we need to do. The dams we've got the caulking done on Charmaine. The valve is closed. As David said, we'll have to get the valve repaired on Charmaine and then move forward from there. So if I get a recommendation from council to go ahead and move forward with LJA Engineering so we can get them out here to inspect dams.
I make a motion that we get LJA to come out and inspect the dams and put together a strategy for us.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. What's the other thing? Oh, I can't recall, did you say what, if a cost comparison between foam and cement, just roughly ballpark difference? Or is
Don't
it-
know.
Don't know, okay.
Until we know how big the void is, we can't get any real.
So we can't quantify
We
how
can't.
much material we'll need to
Not
fill the
yet.
void? Okay,
Not yet.
thank
We
you,
have to go
sir.
out fact finding.
That being said, just knowing the dynamics of the foam product, it seems to me superior in so many ways, but primarily when you're running with a slurry, you're dependent on gravity to fill the void. with the foam, it actually expands. And so if you wind up with a void next to a void that is adjacent to it, you can actually wind up doing better work and getting stuff that you didn't even know that you needed to get to. So I'm sure that they have something in their literature or their specifications or their case studies that would allude to that, but to me, that just makes sense to shift gears to that style of product.
I saw a video where it was a large industrial building where the slab was in the middle of the building, had dropped 6 inches on one side, and they came in and pumped that foam underneath it, and it raised that slab up even with the original. So you couldn't even tell that it had broken.
Geotech, Texas Geotech, when they came out and we met with them, they showed me a video of where they pumped the foam in. And they take a 5/8 drill and drill a hole at the top. And they go down to where the bottom of the void is, and they drill some more holes. And it actually pushed water 3 feet in the air when it filled it up.
Wow.
And they're willing to come out and meet with us and show us videos and educate us on this process.
I'd like for you to be there too.
Excellent.
So once
Absolutely.
we get that far down the road, they said they'll come out and they'll show us how all this works, which I'm highly encouraging, so we have more knowledge and know what we're talking about.
Certainly more scientific than what we've been doing in the past.
It is the current technology.
Yes, sir. Okay. Evans variance application?
Okay. City attorney for review in light of her legal counsel regarding re-plat.
Oh,
We just handed out the application today.
okay, so we don't really have time, you're not ready for that. Okay. Just a brief overview is that I got a request from, a question from Timberlake's or Charles Rawson Real Estate regarding two property owners that have a lot between them. They're wanting to buy the lot and divide it evenly between the two, and the surveyor said that it required a plat. I asked Kate, and she came back and said that any time that Section 212.004 does require a replat when a tract of land is divided. I didn't get into any of the ordinances or any of that other stuff, and the variances come out. I haven't seen that until now. So that was kind of a surprise, but that's okay. We're moving forward.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion, we postpone this until next council meeting.
Very good. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
That said, will that same statute apply to the piece of park property over on Camelot that we need to be able to purchase?
Probably so, yes. It's, the appraisal came in for the whole park, and we only needed a sliver of the dirt to be able to straighten the curve out some. But I thought that we had done, that there had been some divisions made in the past without replatting, but I don't know. I mean, the statute is that it requires replatting.
Number 8.
Do we want to talk about the general election now or wait, CD? Okay. November 7th, the uniform election date. These dates are subject to change.
It will take place on the seventh. We're good with that.
On which day?
November 7th.
This says 2022, that's why okay. That's what's throwing me. Okay,
You just order your general election for the 3 spots, that'll be it.
okay. So I'll order the general election for the 3 spots that are up. That would be Mr. Harrington, Mr. McWhorter, and Mr. Gregory.
The biggest date to know is the first day
That's November the 7th,
No, that's the election date. The first day to file is.
August the 21st. No,
July 22nd?
It's Saturday, July 22nd is the first day. to
ah,
file.
thank you. I knew,
Deadline is August 20th.
first day, okay.
That's the deadline to call the general election. You have to call it by August 21st. But just make sure you're running to put in your application.
Well, thank you for walking me through that.
Sure, you'll have that.
And Mayor, if you could pass that along to each of the council members, they'll need to sign on that order. Then I let Andy.
Okay.
Right, you need to vote, you need to have a motion and a vote to order the election.
I make a motion that we order a general election for November the 7th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So does carry. So CD, I guess it's now up to you to round it out.
Get the signatures on that.
Oh, you gotta sign it.
So they, you're gonna have an election.
Use mine.
Yes, sir. You ready for the June financial report? Are you ready?
Can I borrow yours? I've only got red ink.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, thank you, David, for shortening your report because I'm going to take up the time.
Where'd he go? There he is.
Okay, and my apologies. I somehow I sent the treasurer's report out to the council in an email, but then I didn't remember to make a copy. So just bear with me as we go. The financial documents, including the bank and text class statements, they were sent out to the council earlier in the month. The accountant financial reports and reconciliation details for each account were emailed to council as soon as they arrived. That was last Thursday. State Comptroller direct deposited $7,371.58 on the 14th for sales and use taxes collected in April, reported the Comptroller in May. Last month, the sales tax deposit was $7,039, and our fiscal year to date, ending June 30th, total sales tax income is at $70,921. You can see that in the file that I sent to you. But compared to the last year's same month, it was $67,599. So we're about $3,000 over. But we have $14,079 to go to make our $85,000 budgeted income for the sales tax for the year. Now, I went back and looked, and based on last year's remaining 2 months sales tax collections, we will be really close to making that $85,000 by September. So I say, keep supporting our local businesses. Ad valorem taxes were received on the 8th of the month, totaled $15,815.94. Now $12,783.58. So that went to maintenance and operations, and $3,032.36 went to the interest and sinking fund. With this receipt, the total maintenance and operation collections coming in at $529,896.09, and that puts us $40,595 away from making our budget for the ad valorem income for this year. I remain concerned that property tax collections will fall short of the budgeted income based on our fiscal year 2022 payments from July through September. That was $26,020. So a bit of difference between that and the $40,595. Now, our collections rate through the end of June is 87.17%. Calculated balance of delinquent taxes stands at $332,249 as of the end of June. That's the aggregate amount from back when we started collecting taxes in 2010 up to current. The calculated balance of unpaid taxes, penalties, and interest on the Ivanhoe North 2010 1 year was $5,300. That's $37 less than the same period last year. On the interest and sinking side, the June payment brings the total ad valorem collections to $121,382.48. The principal and interest payment that'll be coming due in August will total $106,987.50. So the bond repayment fund will be able to cover that payment, and we'll have over $14,000 remaining. Based on fiscal year 2022 ad valorem income for the remainder of the year, the balance will be close to $20,000 that will carry over into fiscal year 2024 for the INS. Pledged securities at Citizens State Bank total $207,720 above the FDIC insurance of $250,000. That gives the city a cushion of $369,443.31 above our deposits. Tax class interest rate, it's continued relatively stable around 4.9% through most of the month. Now, if the feds decide that they're going to increase the rate, interbank rate, this next time that they meet, I think next week, then we might be seeing that bounce over the 5% interest that we'll be getting on our funds that are in tax class. So, let's see. Remaining balance in the 2019 bond fund as of the end of June is $378,962. The remaining amount payable to LJA Engineering is $28,440. So, not including any interest that accrues until those funds are spent. The balance available for construction is still running around $350,522. I emailed council the deadline calendar for both when the anticipated adopted tax rate does not exceed the voter approval tax rate, when the anticipated tax rate will exceed the voter approval tax rate. Now we're waiting for the multi-page calculation form to be completed by the tax assessor collector at the county. I tried to reach her yesterday. She was out. I left a message. She didn't call me today, so I don't have a report as to when to expect the no new revenue tax rate or the voter approval rate yet. Citizen State Bank General Fund account is nearing the $50,000 point. As a result, I'll be submitting a request to Mayor Blackstone tomorrow to transfer $100,000 from the Texas Class General Fund account over to our Citizen State Bank maintenance and operations account where we pay a lot of bills from. Barring any unforeseen major expenditures, that $100,000 transfer amount should be sufficient to cover our regular M&O operations expenses through the end of the fiscal year. The accountant's monthly report for June arrived last Thursday. As I said, some minor corrections for line items. The totals on the various department budgets are correct. Bank statements are reconciled. I'm comfortable that the June financials can be approved by council. And before we get to that point, Mayor, an added note. I'd like to thank the person or persons who sent the box of Atkinson sugar-free mini peanut butter bars to me anonymously. The staff in City Hall is definitely enjoying the candy, especially David. Councilman Harrington, that is. Okay, that's my report. The other items that were in there I sent to you as for in an email. If you have any questions, what we got?
So the tax shortage, is that, we said you're running a little below what we think we're gonna get on tax revenue?
That's where I'm concerned, yes, sir.
And is that primarily because of that 87% payment rate, or is that consistent?
Our budget was set on an 89% collection rate, but I discussed this situation with Mayor Bythewood at Woodville, and she said their collection is running behind too, and she has put it squarely at the foot of the Woodville School District's bond issue. Some folks are just saying we can't pay it. So,
So they're not making partial payments, they're not just paying the taxes at all?
it's coming in behind where we should be. Yes, sir.
We're down 2%, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
So we're looking at, right now, we're looking at about 40,000 shortage.
Okay, I'm guessing that we'll probably around 25,000.
25, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we're under on expenses in some areas that we can cut back on some expenses to make up for that
And we have received more income in other,
areas.
yes, sir.
So even though we're behind on collections, we can still make up where our budget shortfalls are.
We will be pretty close.
All right.
Yes, sir.
On another note, you said you were comfortable with the June's financial report. Are you comfortable with the discrepancy I pointed out earlier?
On the dams, yes, and I've made a note to contact Kyle to correct that on the next budget report.
Okay.
I didn't see that, but we've been trying to get Kyle
Kyle Heineman, yes.
Heineman to get the financials to CD by the second Thursday of the month rather than the day of the council meeting, so that CD has time to go through and make any corrections or get any questions answered that he has, so that he can provide us with the best numbers possible without him having to get a paper bag for hyperventilation.
Yeah. Also, a real quick note, the mayor has been putting together the fiscal year 2024 proposed budget, been working hard on that, and I applaud him for getting an early start here as we move that direction. There are some deadlines that will have to come along, and that's towards the end of July rather, and early part of August. So we'll be staying on top of that. But my hat's off to the mayor taking the bull by the horn, so to speak, and working hard on that.
Well, thank you, CD. I'm trying to come up with end-of-year numbers, so to give us a starting point with the 24 numbers. So that's it? You got nothing? You got nothing?
The motion,
Motion to approve the financials?
Make a motion to approve the financials.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, CD.
Thank
Motion
you.
Carries. So now we adjourn for a few minutes?
Are you going into executive?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks, Liz. We can go into executive session.
Okay, we'll now close this meeting and recess to executive session. Do I need to say pursuant to all that? Okay. So let's go, and we won't be too long.
You'll always say that, Skip.
And it turned out to be too long.
try to come, sir. I knew it. I wasn't right ahead on time.
I'd like to call the meeting back to order. We've beat this horse to death. Anybody want to?
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What do we? Oh, no council comments? No comments? We're, happy birthday, Mr. Harrington. You're going to be 42?
39 again, as my mother would say.
I had acne at that age.
What's your birthday dinner?
If I'm lucky.
Do what?